Alright, Shalom, Yasharala, Shalom. It's the brother Ash'ibad coming back in the spirit, and I want to give all praises to the Most High, Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. So in today's video, man, I want to do a topic, basically, it's going to be titled, Only Deal with People Who Are Hot in Your Life. And I'm sure y'all brothers are familiar with the famous scripture in Revelation chapter 3 and 15. Let's actually get it real quick. This is Revelation chapter 3, verse 15. It says, I know your works, that you are neither cold nor hot. I wish that you were cold or hot, but because you are lukewarm and neither cold or hot, I will spew thee out of my mouth. And y'all know this is Yahawashi speaking of, certain members of the church, telling them that you playing both sides. I need you to either be hot for me, be devoted to me, or be cold. Show yourself to be my enemy. Show yourself to be somebody that I know has no real intentions to serve me. And the reason why I'm doing this video is because, as you brothers start to mature, especially when you brothers start to get in your 20s, if you got the knowledge and you in your 20s, that's when things really start to slow down for you. Now, if you a brother in your teenagers and you getting the knowledge, it definitely helps. But when you come into your 20s and early 30s and you really mature and see things as a man and you have the understanding of the Bible, life starts to become a lot easier. It starts to become a lot easier to be able to pick out problems and to be able to move the right way. And one main issue that most brothers, most Jake men, whether they be in the understanding, but particularly outside of the understanding, is that you have the wrong people around you. You have people around you who either, first and foremost, don't really care about you, and they're masquerading as your friend when they have bad intentions for you. Or two, and this is what most people in the world are, they see that you have something that they can gain, whether it be you have a good personality, whether it be you have something in the physical, like money. You might have a nice car, you might have a nice house, depending on where you come from. You have something that a lot of people who come from impoverished states or scarcity mindsets may look at and say, okay, this brother has something that I can use. But when it comes to you as a man, when it comes to your personality, when it comes to the things that you believe in, they could not give a damn about you. And the reason why I say that those two people are bad is because those people are what you would consider to be lukewarm, right? You got to understand, somebody who's cold with you is not going to call you. Somebody who's cold with you is not going to be there for you. Somebody who's cold with you is going to tell you, hey, bro, I really don't care for you. Why are you calling me? Why are you hitting me up? It's going to be extremely apparent. And to be quite honest with you, those people are doing you a favor because they're stopping you from wasting your time. Just like if you were to date a woman, you would rather the woman say, look, I don't like you. I don't care to deal with you. Leave me alone. Because why? You save time and you save a lot of heartache compared to the woman who's ball busting you, compared to the woman who's hot and cold. What is she doing? She's playing with your emotions. You feel as if that woman really cares for you and really wants something from you because you want something from her, but then you realize she doesn't really like you like that. Because you have to understand something, and this is something that takes a lot of self-esteem. This is something that takes a lot of growth as a man. Nobody who's using you or nobody who's up and down with you really cares about you like that, because you treat people the way you want to be treated, right? You want to be around people who truly genuinely like you. Like if you're a brother in the spirit, man, if you're a brother and you're trying to abide by the Most High and you're trying to love thy neighbor as thyself, now you have to understand there's certain levels to it. There's certain brothers that you may not talk to, you may not really have any type of rapport with, but you're still going to go out of your way to help them. The scripture says if you find thy neighbor with an ox, turn down, help him find it. Or, if a man has lost something, hold it and return it unto him. Those are just brotherly things to do. So we all have that certain level of commitment to one another based off of the scriptures, right? But when it comes to being actual friends and wanting to congregate with certain brothers and wanting to be around certain brothers, as far as just, friend to friend, okay, that's completely different. You see what I'm saying? But one thing that a lot of people in the world like to do, and a lot of devious men like to do, is that they like to play both sides. They like to seem and appear genuine, but again, if you were to take certain things away from them, they really wouldn't even deal with you at all. And I'm going to get into that scripture later. So when you brothers start to grow and you start to be able to read people, because the key to something like this is being able to read people. A lot of brothers don't have good social cues or being able to read people's emotions. You can tell when somebody really doesn't care for you. How? Because they don't really reach out to you. They either reach out to you every blue moon. They either reach out to you, when they feeling good. They might be drunk. They're like, oh, let me call that dude in. But when they don't want to be bothered, or when you're not giving them what they want, they rarely reach out to you. Or if there's somebody who's reaching out to you, but you can tell like they hella dry over the phone, they don't reply, they barely reply, and when they reply, it's dry. Or whenever you're trying to talk to them about certain things, like especially spiritual topics about the Most High, topics about Yahawashi, topics about growing in the Spirit, they're very quiet because they really don't care about the things that you're talking about. Let's go to the book of Galatians chapter 5, and we'll really understand what type of foundation you want to have around the certain men that you allow into your life. So this is the book of Galatians chapter 5 verse 22. It says, but the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law. And this is obviously a fruit of the Spirit. So you as a man, you have to learn to exhibit these traits. And when it comes to somebody who's your brother, right, you have love for them. Not just, oh, I love you, bro. Let's have good time together. Love is telling somebody something they don't want to hear. If you being lukewarm, you tell your brother, hey, bro, you going on. If a brother did something to transgress you, hey, bro, you really offended me, dog. Like, I don't appreciate what you did for me. Love is not always good feeling, but love is being your brother's keeper, whether it be for good, if your brother does good, or if your brother does bad. Joy is having a state of joy around your brother, right? Having general joy when you're around him, a good feeling about him. Like when you're around a brother who's genuine, you feel like it's a safe space. You don't have enmity, you don't have strife. Another key sign where you can tell somebody is not really meant for you is when you're constantly around that person, you always bickering, you always beefing, because that brings out your carnality. Again, you brothers got to trust your spirit. This is one thing that I had to learn. There will be certain men around me where every time I was around them, it would be some shit coming up. It would be some bullshit coming up. And I was always wondering, like, man, it's like, yo, me and him be so cool sometimes, but then the next week, bro be acting like he don't know me, or bro be acting like he got some type of beef with me, dog. And as a man, you got to see consistency around other men. As women, they're up and down. But as a man, when you're around another man, he got to be consistent. It can't be one day he's your best friend, your best bud, and then the next day he act like he don't like you. Because ultimately, he's just revealing to you how he really feels towards you. Because a man who's consistent with you is going to constantly give you that certain feeling. And if he feels a certain type of way in the moment, whether he may be down and depressed, he's going to be honest with you. He's going to honestly tell you what's going on. Because again, another aspect of somebody being your brother is having enough trust with you to tell you what the situation is. A lot of times if somebody's kind of quiet and don't really want to tell you what's really going on, it's because they don't trust you. And do you want to really be around somebody who doesn't trust you? But continuing on, peace, having a state of peace, not going to war with that person, long suffering, and we can keep going on and on and on. So when y'all brothers see and you see these foundations, you have to have people around you like that. Because one thing that you're going to start to see is you're going to start to see the genuine respect or brotherly love that person has for you. And most people in the world, you're not going to find that. I met a lot of brothers. I met a lot of brothers in my time. And as far as people in the world, I just genuinely can't connect with them. And the reason why I can't connect with them is because I just noticed that most of them are fake. I noticed that most of them have a persona to play, whether it be for Instagram, whether it be for their brand, whether it be, they have certain insecurities in them as a man and they haven't been able to be healed by the Holy Spirit, that they have to play a character. They have to play a role. And at this point in my life, I'm done playing the character. I'm done playing a role. I auditioned for the movie called Life, and it wasn't the right role for me. The role for me was to be a part of the Most High Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi's movie. And one thing that I started to understand is that for you to be a player in the Most High's role, you got to be your genuine, authentic self, regardless of whether the world likes you or not. And when you brothers start to move like that, and you start to have that type of, a mindset, two things happen. First and foremost, you stop acting fake around yourself and you start to become who you really were meant to be as a man. But two, you start to push away a lot of the worldly people who are around you for those carnal, vain things. And you start to have people around you who really care for you and who like you for you. You may not, love every sports team together. You may not have the same hobbies. Shit, you may not even like the same music. But the main thing that you have in common with them brothers and that you can always come together is that y'all have a genuine care for one another when it comes to the spirit. And ultimately, the spirit is above everything. Now, if you have brothers who genuinely care for you in the spirit and y'all agree on doctrine, and on top of that, y'all have great hobbies, y'all like to do certain things together, go certain places together, then, hey, bro, you done found you a Hall of Fame career status brother. And I mean, all brothers who move with you in the spirit is Hall of Fame career status, but you get what I'm saying. It's just certain brothers, you even have a higher level of agreement with. You see what I'm saying? So when it comes to you dealing with men in the world, they just quite frankly don't have that. And one thing that the Most High will expose to you when you're around people like that is their spirit. This is Amos 3:3. It says, can two walk together except they be agreed? And one thing that you'll start to notice is that spiritually, through the spirit, even though this person has many things that are similar to you fleshly, there's something wrong with their spirit. And that's why you can consistently start to war and have grief and enmity towards them. And you got to go with what the spirit is telling with you. And I know sometimes it can be very hard, but you honestly just got to quit talking to those people. Why do you have to do that? Because it's going to be less bullshit. It's going to be less drama. And ultimately what's going to happen is going to allow you to have more peace in your mind, because you're going to have a more stable and sturdy kingdom. One thing that Yahawashi said, I want to get it real quick. This is Matthew chapter 12:25. It says, and Yahawashi knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. And y'all understand, in the great scheme of things, whenever a great country, whenever a great nation was destroyed and dissolved, it was often dissolved through what? Civil war. Like the northern and southern kingdom, when they split, they started to have wars and contention amongst one another. They weren't in one accord. Well, you have to look at things from a microcosm when it comes to your relationship. You may not be the size of a kingdom, but you have your own individual kingdom, right? You rule over your own house, right? You have your own individual house, right? So, when it comes to your house, you let certain members into your house that you can You can trust, right? So one thing that happens if you have a lot of lukewarm people who don't really care for you is that when you allow a lot of people into your house, you start to have a shaky foundation. And you know what happens with a shaky foundation? Think about that hurricane that hit Florida. If that foundation wasn't rock solid, that house was getting swept away. Just like in the tribulation. If your faith ain't rock solid, if you haven't built your house upon Yahawashi, you're going to get swept up and caught in the tribulation, and you're not going to make it. And when you look at your relationships, it's the exact same thing. When you hit a rough patch, when you hit a hard time in your life, when you hit something where there's some type of, how do I put this the right way? Some type of adversity or some type of affliction that may come upon you and your people's relationship, it's a telltale sign of how things, stand up in the time. I want to get this in Ephesians. So when it comes back to the house analogy, you have to understand that if somebody is very shaky and very sturdy with their foundation with you, more than likely you can't deal with them, especially when shit hits the fan, bro. The reason why is because just like with a sports team, you're not going to put your bench warmers in when the pressure hits. Who do you normally put in? Your starters, your star players, the people who've been consistent for you day in and day out. They've been producing for you constantly, right? Those are the people that you reach out to, the people who've helped you when you've had money situations, the people who've helped you when they seen you at your low, when you might have been crying because somebody in your family passed away, Lord forbid, or your girl might have did you dirty, you was downtrodden, you was upset, you know what I'm saying? You weren't at your highest state, but those people had trust in you, and they still believed in you, and they still helped work with you, just like a team. So like if you get into a playoff situation, you're not gonna put your 10th man, 11th man, your 9th man. And that's what a worldly person is, man. A lukewarm person is, man. There's somebody where they just been kind of around, sitting around, trying to get some type of credit and some type of acclaim. And then when things really come, when the pressure really builds, and one of your starters might have gotten hurt, and you try to put your bench warmer in, not saying that they can't rise to the occasion, but more often than not, they're going to skedaddle. They're going to fold under pressure. They're going to want to join another team where they don't have to play that certain role, because ultimately they didn't have the right role for you. You see what I'm trying to explain to you? So especially when it comes to now, because we got to remember, as things get more and more chaotic, as things gets more and more trying, when you understand the prophecies, you understand there's going to be travail. You understand there's going to be mass division. So you got to be around people who are rock solid. And more often than not, a lot of times you having a rock solid foundation doesn't include many pieces. The more bricks that a house builds, the more easier it is to fall, you know. And I'm not even talking about it from a standpoint of the kingdom of Israel, because that's the Most High's house. He's going to build that perfectly. But I'm talking about when it comes to you brothers, you know, looking at, you know, your own personal household and seeing who you can rely on, who you can't. If you still dealing around a lot of worldly niggas, I can almost guarantee you that them brothers is not gonna be there for you when things get tough. Especially if they don't have faith in the Most High, they're gonna lose all morals. They're gonna be the dudes who rob you, who steal you, who may potentially kill you if they need something in that day, because quite honestly, they don't have faith that the Most High is gonna watch over and protect them. I mean, there's throughout history that's been a thing throughout Israel, right? You know, so you got to be around people that you can genuinely trust. And if that means that instead of rocking with 50 niggas, you rocking with 2. Instead of rocking with 100 dudes, you rocking with 5. Instead of rocking with 25, you rocking with 1. Or even if you brothers is in a position where you don't have somebody with you right then and there, you have to be patient and trust in the Most High, because the Most High will send you somebody. The Most High, let me get that actually. This is Sirach chapter 6, verse 16. I read verse 14. It says, a faithful friend is a strong a strong defense. And he that has found such has found a treasure. Nothing does counterfeit a faithful friend, and his excellency is invaluable. A faithful friend is the medicine of life, and they that fear Yahawah will find him. Whoso feareth the Most High shall direct his friendship aright, for as he is, so shall his neighbor be also. So the Most High, if you fear him, if you follow his laws, statutes, and commandments, if you follow the way of his son in fullness and sincerity, the Most High is going to find faithful, solid, genuine brothers for you. Now, if you a wicked nigga, again, can two be together lest they be agreed? So you're going to have a lot of wicked men who's willing to turn their back on you. And ultimately, man, you reaped what you sowed. If you sow carnality, you're going to be around carnal dudes. It's just that plain and simple, you know? But understanding that in a time of travail, you will find certain people who will be there for you. Because at the end of the day, a lukewarm person, a person who's lukewarm towards you, they're going to get out of the dodge when things ain't getting hot. That's why in the scripture, when you go back to Revelation, right? Let's go to the book of Revelation, chapter 3. I console thee to buy me gold tried in the fire, that you may be rich. When Yahawashi said that, he said, I need something that's proven and tried, and that is legitimate in its faith towards me. So you have to understand, when it comes to your friends, you're not going to really know your friends until a certain period of time. You can sit here and be cool with your friends and be great with your friends, but you're not going to really know your friends until shit hits the fan and they see you at your lowest, or you see them at your lowest, man. And again, nobody's perfect. Sometimes, you know, brothers make the wrong choices, and hey, you got to live with your choices, you know, because ultimately at the end of the day, we all receive the same punishment. The Most High is fair and just. The Most High is not here for no pity parties. And when you as a man start to learn that, you realize, okay, you know, I got good friends, I had bad friends. Sometimes I had great friends, I might have messed it up. Sometimes, you know, another person had a great friend, they messed it up, we went our separate ways. But ultimately, you gain more knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to move forward in the future. And one thing that you have to understand is that, you know, a lot of times, many people who are not hot with you, but who are cold with you, they'll end up being like this. This is Sirach 12:8. It says, a friend cannot be known in prosperity, and an enemy cannot be hidden in adversity. In the prosperity of a man, enemies will be grieved, but in his adversity, even a friend will depart. Never trust your enemy, like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness. And, this may be an extreme case, but just me personally, I see it as if you're not with me, you're against me. In regards to the aspect of if you're lukewarm, I'm not going to necessarily trust you enough to really confide with you and to really try to build something genuine and deep with you. That's just how it was. As I've gotten older, that's just how I've come. I've cut off a lot of worldly niggas, cut off a lot of fake lukewarm brothers who's been hot and who's been cold. It is what it is. And another thing that you have to understand, brothers, is you can't let your emotions and how you may feel and how the potential of how somebody is allow you to cloud your judgment. Yes, men have potential. Yes, men have many great abilities. Yes, men have charisma and things like that. But ultimately, man, you get what you see. What a man is showing you is who a man is. Unless he proves himself otherwise, and you can see that man is proving himself, and you're willing to, change your outlook on that man. If a man is showing you who he is, you got to believe him. Because if you don't believe him, then ultimately you're allowing yourself to get burned. So just in my opinion, when we go to like what I would personally see as a friend, right? You gotta have a genuine spirit. When you speak to him, things gotta be genuine. You can tell when the nigga's faking it. Brother ain't really having much communication. His communication like, oh yeah, bro, yeah. If a brother don't got no genuine emotion when he talk to you, he might just be playing the character, bro. Also, another thing, a brother gotta be consistent with you. Because some brothers may be genuine with you in the moment, but you have to understand something. We're all human beings propelled by emotion. If somebody doesn't want to talk to you, if you don't hear from somebody consistently, it's because the brother doesn't want to speak about you. Because there's no chance in hell that you as a human being, you don't think about other people, bro. If you thinking about other people and they're not reaching out to you, then that's just because they have the same thoughts as you, but they're not reaching out to you. It's because they don't really feel compelled to talk to you. Not saying that they're evil and they're wicked, but they just don't really rock with you like that. If you haven't heard from a brother in 2-3 months, I'm sorry, bro, but like, I mean, you can pick up your phone once a week. You know what I'm saying? Once a month, bare minimum. If you ain't hearing from somebody for extended periods of time, just to keep it real with you, bro, I don't care how busy your life is. That man, that woman does not see you on that level to the point where they want to reach out to you consistently. Whether it might be they have a different viewpoint, a different doctrine, a different spirit on them, they just don't want to be around you. And you got to accept that, look at that for what it is, and just slot that person in a certain position. Don't label him as an enemy, a op, a fake carnal nigga. Just say, hey, I know about that dude. I got no issue with him. I got no beef with him, but he's not my boy like that. You see what I'm saying? And the last thing that you got to have, if you're willing to see these traits from somebody, is trust. A lot of brothers, y'all came up to me last year and throughout this following year, in regards to the situation I had with the brothers I used to congregate with. And to be quite honest with you, I felt like it was a waste of time, when certain brothers would say, oh, bro, come back together and do this. I mean, bro, there's no trust in that relationship. That would be a waste of time. And ultimately, getting back to the theme of this scene, if I genuinely feel and I can genuinely tell that certain brothers don't like me and don't really care to be around me, not saying that they have vitriol and hatred towards me anymore, but if they don't like to be around me, why in the hell would I be around them? There's no disrespect, but that's like being around a woman that feels like she's been slighted and you trying to make things work, but you can tell she just genuinely don't want to be around you. You as a man, if you have self-respect, you're going to take yourself out of that situation. And I guarantee you both parties are going to be much more happy. The other party's going to be happy because they don't have to think about that feeling that they have. And you as a man, you're going to feel happier because you're going to be able to live with whatever happened in that situation and move forward and allow yourself to build with people who don't have that same feeling towards you. That's another thing as well. If you have the Most High with you, the Most High is going to provide men who genuinely care for you. If you at your core know that you're a genuinely good brother, the Most High is not going to excommunicate you with all the spiritual men of Israel, bro. And you got to have confidence and faith in yourself that the Lord will do that for you. Because not everything runs perfectly. You can't see everything in your life. You can't see how everything is going to go. you have faith, the Most High will allow other brothers, even if you brothers, let's say you have a woman, right, and your woman did you dirty, you got to have faith that the Most High is going to send you another great woman. Because if you're a great man, again, can two be together as they be agreed? The Most High is going to send you brothers. The Most High is going to send you a sister. Just have faith, man, and understand that you may have to be by yourself at a certain time. You may have to deal with certain feelings at a certain time. And when you brothers do this, especially when you're coming out of the world trying to come into the understanding, you're going to have to cut off some people, and it may be lonely, but the Most High is going to show you. And that's also another test whether or not you really care for the Lord. Is, are you willing to let go of them worldly carnal dudes that used to be around you, the brothers that you have great chemistry, great rapport with? You have a lot of things in common, but you can tell that they're wicked. You can tell that they don't want to follow the Lord. Are you willing to not necessarily cut them off completely, but separate yourself from the unclean spirit so that the Lord can accept you and that the Lord can bind you with other clean spiritual men? If you can't do that, then the Lord's not going to give you those people. So I hope this lesson was edifying. I know it's a deep topic, you know. Hopefully our brothers could have got some wisdom and understanding from it. As always, I give all praise to the Most High, Yahawah, in the name of his only begotten son, Yahawashi. Until next time, it's the brother Ash Ibad signing out.